not a home. Lately you've changed my life, and it just ain't right. So I love you.
What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me on this very rainy and gloomy Friday afternoon. Welcome back to the ShortFilm podcast, your favorite place to dissect all things media from the silent era to streaming culture. I'm James, your host and producer for the ShortFilm Showcase, and today's episode is all about a cinematic tool that's bold, brilliant, and sometimes a little mischievous, breaking down that fourth wall. We're diving into meta storytelling. What is it? Why it works, and some of the most iconic examples throughout film history. Let's peel back that curtain. But first, have you ever watched a film where the main character looked straight at you and you felt like you were suddenly part of the story? That's the magic we're exploring today, so let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. The fourth wall refers to the imaginary barrier between the characters in a film and the audience who is watching it. In traditional storytelling, the characters act as though the audience does not exist. But when that wall is broken, when characters speak to us directly or acknowledge they're also in a movie, it creates a meta moment. It reminds us that we're watching fiction, yet it draws us closer in. It's a paradox that somehow works because it creates both distance and intimacy. It invites us into the narrative, even as it reminds us it's a construct. This technique shifts our role from passive observers to active participants. When a character addresses us, it's almost like they're letting us in on a secret. This momentary shift in perspective has a psychological effect. We start to question what's real, what's constructed, and how our presence affects the storytelling experience. The technique goes all the way back. It's definitely not new. Even in theater, Shakespeare used it often. Think of Hamlet's soliloquies. He's not just thinking aloud, he's speaking directly to the audience, engaging us in his turmoil. In film, early examples appear in Charlie Chaplin's silent comedies or Groucho Marx's sly asides. These weren't just gimmicky tools, they were tools to involve the audience in a more playful, knowing way. As film evolved, so did the sophistication of this technique. Jean-Luc Godard used it in Breathless, not to charm us, but to disrupt narrative convention. The 1980s brought us Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but the 1990s and 2000s would both see a rise in subtle and overt examples across the genre. The fourth wall will definitely become a space for innovation. So why break the illusion? Well, filmmakers used it to make us think, laugh, or feel seen. It can offer insight into a character's mind, like in Fleabag, or it can shatter genre conventions, like in Deadpool. It's a powerful way to connect directly with the audience, often inviting us to be in on the joke, or the struggle. Meta storytelling lets the filmmaker comment on the story while telling it. It creates a dual narrative, the story itself, and a commentary on the act of storytelling. This duality can be emotionally moving, intellectually stimulating, or hilariously absurd. It's storytelling about storytelling. Now, let's talk where it lives. Let's talk comedy. Breaking the fourth wall thrives here. Think Ferris Bueller casually narrating his day, or Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles literally crashing through studio sets. Comedy loves to remind us that it's all make-believe. It builds a special bond with the viewer, like we're on something kind of exclusive. We become co-conspirators. Wayne's World, The Office, 30 Rock, these shows and films treat the audience as part of the ensemble. That wink to the camera makes us feel like we belong. While it's often played for laughs, dramatic films use this device too. In Annie Hall, Woody Allen pulls Marshall McLuhan from behind a theater sign to settle an argument, blurring reality and fiction in the most delightful way. Or look at The Wolf of Wall Street, where Jordan Belfort's direct addresses challenge us to either admire or recoil from his actions. This technique becomes a mirror, forcing us to confront our own reactions. When used in drama, it can be profoundly introspective, shaking us out of our detachment and making us active thinkers rather than passive movie viewers. Horror likes to use the technique of breaking the fourth wall as a method to disturb the viewer. Films like Funny Games weaponize the fourth wall, making the audience complicit in the violence. It's unnerving. It says, you're not just watching, you are involved. This tactic can turn the viewer into a participant, a bystander, or even an accomplice. It's not about entertaining, it's about accountability. And it works because it violates our comfort zone, demanding introspection and emotional response. Now, we can't talk about breaking the fourth wall without mentioning Fleabag. Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character uses it to invite us into her inner world, making us confidants. But what's genius is how the device evolves, especially in season 2 when the hot priest notices her asides. That moment, when someone inside the story sees her break the fourth wall away to talk to us, breaks the fourth wall again. It turns the device into a deeper exploration of intimacy, secrecy, and connection. We're not just her audience, we're her emotional refuge. Now, for a superhero twist, Deadpool, the film gleefully tears down the fourth wall, mocking everything from superhero tropes to its own studio. Deadpool's constant audience interaction is a major part of his identity. It's a love letter to meta storytelling and proof that when you mix wit with chaos, magic happens. It breaks rules while still honoring the genre it's mocking. That balance is really tricky, but when pulled off, it becomes unforgettable. Of course, not every fourth wall break lands. When overused or forced, it can also feel gimmicky or self-indulgent. A good example might be House of Cards in its later seasons, where the fourth wall technique began to feel more like a crutch rather than a revelation. The key is intention. The best examples use this device to enhance the character, theme, or emotion. Without that grounding, it becomes distraction, not innovation. Like any artistic choice, it needs purpose. As audiences become more media savvy, meta storytelling is becoming more and more common and more creative. From interactive films to experimental cinema, filmmakers are constantly exploring new ways to engage viewers. The fourth wall might be imaginary, but in the hands of a great storyteller, it's also a bridge between fiction and feeling. Whether it's challenging norms or creating intimacy, it continues to evolve with the medium. As technology changes, who knows? Maybe one day the fourth wall won't break. It'll invite us to step through or something like that. That's a wrap on episode 9. I hope today's exploration of breaking the fourth wall has you thinking differently about how films speak to us, literally. Remember, great storytelling not only shows us something new, it finds creative ways to invite us in. Got a favorite fourth wall moment? Hit me up on social media and let me know. Let's chat. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with your fellow filmmakers. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, keep watching, keep thinking, and keep creating.
The house is not a home. Lately you changed my life, and it just ain't right. So I love you.